Hello, this is Yogesh 7000 again, and I'm back on my series on stories from the Puranas. And today we will be discussing about a story coming directly from the Puranas about the curse on the 8 Vasus. So first of all, let us understand what Vasus are. Vasus are divine beings. They're actually attendants to the king of gods Indra, but they are deities in themselves, so they have all those divine qualities and those divine powers. So this story, which is coming directly from the Puranas, is about the curse on 8 Vasus. And since it's coming directly from the Puranas, I will request you to have firm faith and belief in it, because this is not fiction. So once the Vasus, along with their wives, were visiting Earth, and they were kind of, I would say, doing some sightseeing and going around, wherein they happened to visit the hermitage, which is called an ashram in Sanskrit, of sage Vasishtha. And sage Vasishtha was not there at that time, and they happened to see a cow by the name of Nandini at sage Vasishtha's hermitage. And when they found out, when they inquired, it was a very beautiful, lovely looking cow. And when they inquired, they found out that this cow has divine properties and divine qualities, and whoever drinks the cow's milk actually lives for 10,000 years and remains youthful during this 10,000 years, and is free from all kinds of diseases and all kinds of problems. So of course Vasus themselves were divine beings, so they didn't have any need for this cow. But one of the Vasus' wives remembered that she had a friend who is living on this earth, and if she can gift this cow to her friend, then her friend can become very powerful, very youthful, free of diseases for the next 10,000 years, and thereby become extremely powerful on this planet Earth. So they thought about it, and they eventually decided to take the cow away from the hermitage while sage Vasishtha was not present there. And the reason was very simple, that had they asked sage Vasishtha for this cow, they thought he will never give it to them. So they were divine beings, very powerful, and thought that they can have, or they have a right of everything on this planet Earth. So they just, without thinking, they just took the cow away. And when sage Vasishtha arrived and he found that the cow with divine qualities, the cow named Nandini, was not present there, he was very upset, and he tried to look for it, and he tried looking for it pretty much everywhere where the cow could have gone, but he was unsuccessful. And when he went in his meditation, because the sage Vasishtha was a very powerful sage himself with a lot of spiritual power in him, so when he went into meditation, he came to know that his cow Nandini was taken away by the 8 Vasus. And the Vasus had not, of course, done the right thing. He realized that, and thinking that, he cursed the 8 Vasus, that since you have done a deed which normally humans born in this earth can do, you're divine beings, you're yourself deity gods, and although you're attendants of Indra, but you have the status of a deity, and you did something which only somebody born on this earth can do. Sage Vasishtha cursed them that let you be born on this earth as well as humans. And when the Vasus came to know about this curse, they were extremely upset. They went to sage Vasishtha and asked for forgiveness, and try to find a way out. To which Sage Vasishta said that once a curse is given, it cannot be undone. However, this curse will go away after a few years, but it still will stay as is. And the Vasus were very, very upset about the whole curse. So they didn't want to get born as humans on this earth, and even though the curse was supposed to stay for a few years, they didn't want to stay as humans, born as humans on this earth even for a few years. So they were going back and they saw river Ganga, which was flowing, and they requested river Ganga, because Ganga is also considered, as per Hindu scriptures, as a goddess. So they did pray to river Ganga, and they came out with a solution, and they prayed to river Ganga and requested her that she should get married to King Shantanu, whom they had chosen themselves. And they were ready to get born as humans through the union of Devi Ganga and King Shantanu, because of course the curse could not be undone, which was given by Sage Vasishta. So they had to get born as humans. So this is the solution they found out. They said, okay, well, since we have to do it, they identified King Shantanu to be the husband of Mother Ganga, and they would get born through the womb of Mother Ganga. And then once they are here as little babies, river Ganga can submerge them or flow them into the flowing river Ganga. So river Ganga would assume the form, or Devi Ganga would assume the form of a lady who would get married to King Shantanu. And once the 8 Vasus were born, one by one, Devi Ganga would submerge those babies into river Ganga. So the curse would be fulfilled as well. And once the children or the babies died by drowning in Ganga, they would be released from this curse, and then they would again assume the form of Vasus. So that was the plan by the Vasus, to which Devi Ganga was kind enough to agree to. And this way the curse would be fulfilled, and the Vasus would be released as well and become Vasus again from their human form. So of course the King Shantanu was identified already by the Vasus to be the husband in this earth of Devi Ganga. And it so happened that once Shantanu was on the banks of river Ganga, he found a very beautiful lady. And of course that lady knew, and the lady was none other than Devi Ganga. And Devi Ganga knew that this was King Shantanu. However, King Shantanu was not aware about the identity of Devi Ganga. He just thought that she's not a goddess, she's just a very beautiful lady. And he immediately became attracted to her, and he proposed marriage to Devi Ganga. And Devi Ganga was in her very, very beautiful form, so it was obvious that King Shantanu would be attracted. This was a part of the divine plan. And Devi Ganga said, okay, well, I'm ready to get married to you. However, there is one condition, that after we get married, you will not ask me for anything which I do against your wishes. So I'm free to do anything, any activity which I want to, and you will not question me. And the day you question me about any activity of mine, I will just leave you. That's very same moment. To which, of course, King Shantanu was so smitten by the beauty of Devi Ganga, who was, of course, in this form. Once again, this was a part of the divine plan, that he immediately agreed, and they did get married. And Devi Ganga and Shantanu, King Shantanu, started to live as husband and wife. And while they were living as husband and wife, sons were born to them, and the first was a son, to which Devi Ganga went and submerged in the river Ganga. And Shantanu was extremely shocked and surprised, but he had agreed that he is not going to ask for any of the activity of Devi Ganga, which he did not like. So he kept quiet. And so the years passed, and slowly and gradually other sons were born. And of course, just to remind you that these sons were none other than the 8 Vasus who were to be born and who were to be submerged in the Ganga river so that they could be released from this curse given to them by sage Vasishtha. So the second son was born. Devi Ganga did the same thing. She submerged the baby into the flowing Ganga waters. The third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh. And every time King Shantanu saw the babies being submerged into water, actually it was killing of the babies, he somehow held himself back, although he was in extreme pain, and he knew that the moment he would ask Devi Ganga about why she's doing it, she would leave him immediately, and he didn't want to see that situation where Devi Ganga would leave him. So he kept quiet until the 8th son was born, and Devi Ganga did the same thing. She took the baby and she was going towards the banks of river Ganga to submerge him into the flowing Ganga waters. So this was the last Vasu whom she was supposed to submerge and actually end the human life of the baby, which was actually a Vasu, so that they could again regain their original form. And this time, in the 8th time, King Shantanu could not hold him back, and he went, and he was pretty mad. He was pretty upset at her, and he said, well, you seem to be a very mean woman, and how can a woman do that? Submerge her own born children into the running waters and kill them? That's not acceptable. So he held her arm and he confronted her and asked her, what's going on? Please let me know. I'm not going to let you do this. To which Ganga reminded him of that promise and said, look, King Shantanu, now I have to leave you because you did promise me. And you stopped me from doing this because... And then she went over the whole story to Shantanu and explained him that this was the reason why I was submerging my own babies into the running Ganga waters. And she said, of course, now your promise is broken, so I have to leave you. And this time, of course, I'm not going to submerge this baby into the flowing water. This baby is going to live. And this baby is going to live on this earth until he decides to live on this earth, on this planet Earth. And in the meanwhile, I will take this baby with me because the baby needs a mother, and I'm going to raise the baby. And once he's young and youthful, I will bring the baby back to you. You will have your child or your son back. So actually this 8th Vasu, which could not be submerged in the water, was the Vasu who had to live his life on earth because of the curse of sage Vasishtha. And of course, he could live on this planet Earth on as many years as he would like to. And he was none other than Bhishma, the story which we just discussed about the great kidnap in one of my previous videos, and a great character of the great epic Mahabharata, who could die at his own wish. Why? Because he was a Vasu, actually. And also, he was raised as a prince by King Shantanu, and he took the vow that he will never get married, he will never inherit the kingdom from King Shantanu. And that was the story which was discussed in the last video about why he did not inherit the kingdom, why he did not marry, because Shantanu's other wife Satyavati wanted her sons to be king. And this is the story about how Bhishma was born, who was once again none other than the 8th Vasu. And if you read and go through the Mahabharata in detail, you will know that Bhishma, at the time of the war in Mahabharata, he left his abode on earth on his own wish, because that was the wish. He could leave his body from this world on his own wish. So that was the kind of a boon he had, because he had already fulfilled the curse that he will be born as a human, but then it was up to him when he could leave his body, which he did at the time of Mahabharata. And we're going to discuss that story in detail in my forthcoming videos. But in the meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed the story of the curse on the 8 Vasus and the birth of Bhishma. And in the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below. And I will see you with the continuation of stories from the Puranas very soon. Goodbye.